If your life looks good on paper, but you don't actually feel happy, then this video might explain why. Because here's the thing, sometimes it's not your life that's the problem, it's your career. I'm Dr. Kiki Ramsey, your favorite positive psychologist and career coach. And today we're going to get into, the 7 signs your career is blocking your happiness, even if you are successful. Here's the deal. So many of us are successful. We are capable. We do everything right, but we still feel unfulfilled. We are still going up into these jobs and living our life, and we are just unhappy. That don't mean nothing wrong with you though. What it means is that something is misaligned in your life. And together, today, my goal is to help you figure out what might be misaligned so that you can go to work and figure out what's going to ultimately fulfill you and make you happy. And so, we're just going to jump right on into it. I don't want to drag it out. So the first sign that may make you understand that you're not happy right now is that you feel drained even after time off. Okay, listen. We be going to work, and some of y'all don't take your time off, right? Now, that's a whole nother topic, and it's a whole nother story, because some of us have all these hours at work and we just don't take time off, and I don't understand it. Anytime that I'm coaching women, I make sure that you all take the time off that's necessary, because we all need time off. But here's the deal. Some of you do take time off from work, but even when you come back, you feel drained. It's like you don't want to be there anymore. Like you're still tired. You can take a couple days off. You can take a week off, and you get back and you still find yourself sitting in your chair yawning. You stretching. We doing all these numbers. We have extended lunch breaks. I mean, you're just still drained. That's a problem, boo. You come back tired and just not refreshed, and you even feel exhausted emotionally and not just physically. I know y'all felt that. I mean, I know in my life I felt it, where my brain hurt, right? It really hurts me to think about the things that I need to do. And we all are, or need to be productive at work, but it is very hard to ultimately come back to work at the time off and still feel drained. This should give you some signs. Like, this should give you a sign that your career it's not your life. It may just be your career. Here's the thing. I'm a positive psychologist, right? And what that means is I study happiness in people, mainly people at work, but I study happiness. I study strengths. I use happiness. I use a strengths-based methodology in all of the coaching that I do. And I do a lot of research around happiness and workplace happiness. So you get it from somebody who is absolutely doing it, teaching it, and coaching it. And I see so many women, so many people on their job that hate their job. I mean, people wake up every day and they go to work hating their job, but they don't do anything about it. And research says that over 50% of Americans are happy on their jobs. So if you're watching this video, then chances are I am definitely speaking to you, right? And I don't believe that we should have to feel that way on our jobs every day. But a lot of times we don't know where that comes from. We just think that we're ultimately overall unhappy, but no, it's not your overall life. It just may be your career. It may be what you get up to go do every single day. And if you feel drained, even after time off, that's a sign. It is a sign. Okay, let's move on to sign number 2. You're successful, but you're not fulfilled. I coach so many women who are successful. And I can remember this this webinar that I was doing. And it was so clear. It was so vivid. One of the participants on the webinar, she was a woman, and she said, Dr. Kiki, I am highly successful in my career. I've made tons of money. I have all the accolades that I need or even deserve. And I am just not fulfilled. What is wrong with me? What is it that I need to do? Wow. And I had to really coach her and talk her through the fact that nothing is wrong with her. Nothing is wrong with her. She might have, outgrown the career. There's so many things that can happen to her along the path, but you do know that you can just no longer be fulfilled by a job or by a career, because guess what? You changed, and that's okay. I think what's funny is that I see so many of us stay in jobs that we hate. And these jobs, we've got these jobs 20 years ago, 30 years ago. If this is you, this ain't criticism. What this is love. Because what we do is we stay in these jobs for all these years and we change. We become a different person. I don't know about you, but I am not the same Kiki Ramsey that I was at 20 or even 30. Right? I'm not the same person. My likes change. My dislikes change. The food I like changes. My hair grew. I got more wrinkles. People are tired, all the things. So if you change over the years, what's going to make you think that you will always like your job or you will always like the career that you're in? What they say that? What they say that at? Right? So if you are feeling unfulfilled, it's just not something that's wrong with you. You might have grown. You've achieved all the things that you were supposed to achieve, boo. And that is possible. The excitement that you used to have for the job, it's missing now. It's gone. I can remember trying to do real estate. Child, I done did everything. In my career, I believe in trying to find the thing that's going to ultimately make you successful. And I thought I could sell houses. Now, to be clear, I was a real estate agent, but I ain't never sold a house in my life. But at the time, I was looking at HGTV and I was like, oh, that looks so fun. Selling houses look fun. And then when I got into the career, I really did try. And then it just wasn't fun for me anymore. It wasn't the kind of challenge that I wanted, right? I didn't want to deal with customers and them looking at 50,000 houses and not choosing one. Shout out to all the realtors. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. But there are some amazing realtors out there and everything. But I didn't want to do that. And so I outgrew that career really, really fast. And that's okay because it was no longer fun for me. I didn't get joy in going to show a house. I did not. And so, that might be the case for you. And then success for you might also just feel hollow instead of satisfying. Along those same lines, if you're a realtor and you sell a house, chances are you used to celebrate. It used to be a big deal. You sold a house and now it's just like, oh yeah, I sold a house. I sold a house. I just think that sometimes we just outgrow our careers and we're just no longer fulfilled. Sign number, let me hold up the right numbers. Sign number 3 is you fantasize about escaping and not a new career. Like You sit here fantasizing about escaping your job, but you're not fantasizing about a new career. You're just fantasizing about getting out of the career that you're in. You dream about leaving, but not moving towards something else. Stuck, anybody? I mean, it's a sign that you like, I want to get up out of here, but you don't even have a thought process about where you want to go, or you just don't know where you want to go. And I have that all the time too, because I do a lot of work with women in terms of, finding their purpose in life. And this one is more common than you can even imagine. I've helped thousands of women really tap into their purpose and discover what that is so that they can find the career that they want. And we go through a whole process to get there. And a lot of them didn't have a clue when they came to me about where to start, right? And so I get this one. I get it a whole lot. Time off feels better than imagining your future. Your time off feels a lot better than imagining your future. And the desire is just relief. You just want relief, not reinvention. You ain't trying to reinvent yourself. You just was like, I just want to roll out. Peace. That's what I want to do. I ain't trying to think about a new career. I ain't trying to think about reinvent yourself, the new you in 22. And, we ain't trying to do that. You just want to peace out. That's a sign for you that it's your career and not your life. Sign number 4, your work no longer reflects who you are. Come on. Your work no longer reflects who you are. You have outgrown your career. You've grown up, but your career has not grown up. You've grown up. It's interesting because I had a client who used to work as in a restaurant as a waiter, bartender, and everything like that. And she ultimately grew up and outgrew that career because that career caused her to work nights, weekends, holidays. And when you have a family and when you have kids, sometimes that's a hard thing to do. So we had to look at her and look at some of the things that she liked so that we could find a more suitable career because she outgrew the career. And it also depends on the place that you work. You might also outgrow the people who you work with. In that same situation, it was a restaurant that was, pretty rowdy. They would have music on the weekends. And, sometimes you don't want that kind of atmosphere no more, right? You just grow up and you get real grown. And when that happens, you can't just say, oh, I just have to stay here because I've been here for a while or there's no other options for me. That's just not the truth. The truth is you've outgrown it. Your values and your priorities have shifted. And the work fits you when you were, younger or a couple of years ago, but not who you are now. It fit you then, but it don't fit you now. And if that's the case, I want you to let yourself off the hook because a lot of times we think that it's us. If you've been in a job for quite some time and you just have outgrown the BS, because y'all do know sometimes our careers, our jobs, people, they be on one. And if the people around you are consistently on one, that might be a sign that you have outgrown them and that career. Okay. Sign number 5 is that you feel guilty for wanting more happiness. And this happens so much with women that we feel guilty. We feel guilty for outgrowing a career or for no longer being happy in the place that we started. Sometimes we are loyal to a fault. Like just loyal to a fault. Like you want to be happy, but you over here sitting, and being sad or that you want to be happy. We're feeling guilty that you want to take care of yourself first. Think about it. No. I really want you to think about this. You feel guilty for wanting to put yourself first. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Oh my God. But it's true. We do it every single day. We feel guilty. I remember I used to feel guilty taking a nap. Like, everything that I'm saying to you is all the things that I went through in my own career, in my own life. I used to feel guilty for taking a nap when I was exhausted. I mean, and don't have no kids. I got kids, and y'all know kids can be exhausting. And I used to feel really guilty just taking some time for myself. Make that make sense. How are we going to take care of other people when we can't even take care of our own selves? How are we going to be responsible for somebody else's happiness when we can't be responsible for our own happiness? I mean, you tell yourself that you should be grateful for this beautiful life that you got. You should be grateful for this job. And I'm not saying that we should not be grateful for the things and the jobs and the opportunities that we have in our life. But there is one thing to be grateful, and then also on the other hand, be suffering, right? Because we can outgrow something, and that's okay. Right? And so we also tell ourselves that because we want to minimize our dissatisfaction with it, we're like, oh, we should just be grateful. And that's in order to minimize your dissatisfaction. And you question whether wanting more is selfish. Well, let me clear it up for you. It ain't. It's not. And as a matter of fact, in order for you to become happier, you're going to have to want more for your life. You absolutely are. Sign number 6 is that your career crowds out the rest of your life. Baby, your career is taking over your life. It crowds it out. You can't do the things that you love because you always working or always on a deadline or always looking at a to-do list or always you insert what it is, because I know that you got some things to insert on that line as well. It's a sign that this is your career if you work late. You know, if you work late all the time, or if your work takes up most of your energy. What's funny is I was just on a session with a client organization that I had, and one of the participants was talking about how sometimes when you work so hard, you don't have energy for those people who you love the most, i.e. the people that live in your household. And at one point in my life, I was just like that. I worked so hard and I was so busy putting on a face for everybody I served, all the women, all the organizations and everything like that I served. I was so busy putting on a face for them that when I got home, I was absolutely drained for my own children. I also used to be a social worker. And so I shout out to all my social workers. I love y'all. It's a hard job and it's very emotional at times as well. And so when I got home, I was a royal, insert what you want to, and it ain't nice. It wasn't pretty. And I realized that I was being that way towards my husband, and I was being very not a nice mommy to my kids. And my husband confronted me one day and he was like, yeah, you And I had to take a look at myself, but also my circumstances. What was causing me to be this way? And what I came up with was the job, the career. I was putting so much energy out that I was coming home not being good to my family. And then what I did was I had to really correct it. And I had to make a promise to myself and to my family that I would never treat anyone outside of my house better than I treated the people inside the house. Like you're not going to get the Kiki and all this kind of stuff if I'm mistreating my kids or my husband. And that has been a game changer for me. It has absolutely been a game changer. And if this is your sign, you have little space for joy. You have little space for rest. You have little space for relationships. Like that's wild. And your life actually feels like it's on hold. And I can tell you story after story where I just really felt like my life was on hold. Like I couldn't even enjoy things. When we lived in Maryland, I wanted to move to Atlanta. And I needed some pots and pans though. And I would not allow myself to buy pots and pans until we moved to Atlanta. Now, granted, it took us another about 7 years to move to Atlanta. So luckily for me, I broke down about pots and pans, but I was just miserable with life in general that I just felt like everything was on hold. Everything was on hold. And that might be you. And then sign number 7. Sign number 7 is you can't imagine feeling this way forever. Here's the thing. You feel heavy right now. You may feel super heavy. You have the thought, the thought of staying and feeling heavy, the thought of, this heaviness staying with you all this time. You can't imagine that you have to, feel this way. You feel stuck between knowing and not knowing. And nobody, let me just tell you this. Nobody wants this. Nobody wants to feel, this heaviness and this weight of feeling unhappy about their lives and their careers always. You don't want that. And I know you don't. And so if these signs are for you, right? If several of these resonated with you, let me just tell you, it's not about being ungrateful. It's really not. Or being unmotivated. I know you're motivated because you're successful. You get stuff done. It's about clarity. It's about clarity. And what I hope this video did, or I did in this video, is helped you gain some clarity, because you are probably stuck, not because your life is, in shambles. It's because of your career. And so the next thing that you do is not quitting. Now don't go quit your job. Don't go say, Dr. Kiki said, it's time for me to go. Peace. Now that might come later, right? After I done coached you a little bit, and everything like that. But I'm not telling you to go quit your job, right? I do want you to go watch my video. It's called, Is it Burnout or Have You Outgrown Your Career? I want you to do that. I also want you to understand that it's not about quitting, but it's also about really understanding whether it is burnout, whether it's misalignment, or whether you have ultimately outgrown your career. These are 3 things that can happen. So if you watch this video and you resonate with some of the 7 signs, now we need to figure out exactly which one it is. Have you burned out, right? Because everything ain't burnout. Are you misaligned? Right? Or have you just simply outgrown your career? So go watch that video next. And then I am going to be talking all about this, in all of my videos, because this year it is your time to ultimately choose happiness and create your own happiness. Right? And if this really resonated with you, and you want to create your own happiness this year and build a career and a life that you actually love, please subscribe to my channel, right? Hit the notification bell so that you can know anytime that I go live. And this channel is for you. You found a new home. This channel is for women who are trying to figure it out. And this is not about pressure and not about shame. Okay, y'all. Until next time, I'll see you. Peace.